Welcome back to Doc's Hot Shop and Forge. Today we're making a house call. We're driving some 300 kilometres west of our usual haunts and visiting a small property to check on a pt1 anvil. And I will try and show you some of the scenery. Probably not on the way out because we are running a little bit late. But on the way back, I will make a few stops and show you some of the scenery. We're well west of the Great Dividing Range, so what would technically be the outback. And I thought you guys might like to come along for this one, because I didn't take you on my last anvil foray. So, let's keep going. Well, that turned into a negative trip. The anvil that I was coming out to see got sold out from under me, but this post vise with a broken front jaw is coming home, and it will be an interesting trial and repair project. There's still this one, but I don't need another 100-pounder London pattern anvil. So that's how this trip went. So this is what the back end of the Great Dividing Range looks like. So I'm on my way back. I'll take some photos in a little bit. Yeah, that's what the back end of the Great Dividing Range looks like. Well, I had planned on walking this track, or at least a little bit of it, but I guess the fires have put the pay to that. So this is what it looks like when there's been a massive bushfire through. Now you may notice a little bit of green on some of the trees. That's because this fire happened about 2 months ago. And they're starting to regenerate a bit, but as you can see, the devastation is pretty intense. So this is on the eastern side of the Great Dividing Range, and yeah. So after a 9-hour round trip, what have we got? Well, we've got a 7-inch jaw blacksmith's post vise. It's complete, except for the footplate, and as we already knew, the front jaw is broken. So, what we're going to do is take this apart so we can get the boss out, and then we're going to see what kind of steel we're dealing with. My suspicion, going on the brake pattern, it's probably wrought iron. But we're going to spark test the boss just so we get an idea of exactly what we're dealing with. And then we're going to plan out our next step, which is how we're going to actually fix this. Because 7-inch jaws don't come along that often. And yes, I did drive 9 hours round trip, including extracting this from a tree stump, to get it. The screw is as close to new as I've ever seen. It still has the lathe center divot in it, so that's pretty rare. There's almost no wear on that. I do wonder whether it's been replaced, because this would suggest that it's been overworked, but it could just have been a manufacturing flaw. Who knows? Where I got this from, the blacksmith is unfortunately now in a high care nursing home, getting treated for age-related dementia, which is really, really sad. And his wife is trying to just get back some of the costs and clean up the place prior to her going into a retirement facility. So I will be doing my best to get this thing back on its foot, Yeah, alright, let's put the bits and pieces out of the way, and we'll flip this over, get some penetrating oil on it, and try and get this bolt out and see if we can't get the boss out. Alright. Question becomes one of, are we turning it, the nut, or are we turning the whole bolt? Nope, just the nut, I think. The thread in there is non-existent. Alright, that's going to need some serious penetrating oil action. And I don't think we're going to save that. Ah, that's been bent. I don't think this old girl's been really used in a very long time. can't see how it's all laminated together. There's scarf joint in there, if you can see it, I'm not sure you can. Between this and this, which this overlaps. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, no. You can see how they have a narrow portion. No cracks that I can see in there, but I can see how it was all laminated together. Is scarf join in there, if you can see it, I'm not sure if you can, between this and this, which this overlaps. You definitely see how they had a narrow portion that they welded the cheeks to. Alright. We need to spark test this, make sure we are dealing with wrought iron. The break is suggestive, but best to be sure. Honestly, I don't know if you saw those sparks or not, but they was almost non-existent. They were red, they were non-exploding. This is wrought iron. That's realistically, that's one of the definitive tests. Okay. So, that leaves us with the hinge boss. Broken from the leg of the front jaw, and we need to figure out a way to rejoin the two. So, what are our options? From a metals point of view, this is wrought iron. The spark test confirms that. We can forge weld it. It's got to be a pretty big piece of forge welding. We can braze it. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Or we can stick weld it, which will involve preheat, post-heat, and always having that nagging suspicion that there's going to be hydrogen embrittlement in the weld boundaries. What I'm thinking we'll do is, if this is the leg coming down, we've got the brake here, and we've got the boss here, is to sister on a strip of wrought iron. So this forge weld in here will be done first. This area here will be ground out so it's nice and clean, so we get rid of some of that damaged metal. This will shorten that jaw a little bit, but I'm hoping that in the process of forge welding this on, we stretch it by the 6 millimeters or so. So we're going to lose, I'll have to forge both of these surfaces down. That way I can minimize losses. And then once that's forge welded on, measure out, form this leg, because that will help us keep this in contact here whilst we weld. Don't actually have to keep that, but we can do that. We will need to make a new bolt because the old one is completely rusted. There's no actual viable threads left on it. So that'll be another part of the puzzle to put together, and I think that's either a 3/4 inch or 5/8 diameter, which is also bent, so it's taken a bit of a pounding. So that's where we're at the moment. We've got the vise here, we've got it taken apart, and we're starting to put together a plan of how to put it back together. So that's where I'm going to leave it. If you've enjoyed the video, hit the thumbs up. Feel free to share on social media. If you haven't already subscribed, highly recommend you subscribe. We are running a giveaway at the moment. There will be a link down there for that. We're drawing that at the end of the month, so end of January 2020. Get out to your shop, have fun, but do stay safe, and I'll catch you for the next one.